Welcome to the course of consumer behavior. Consumer is the king, so runs the well known proverb, and in pursuant with that proclamation, we can say that the field of consumer behavior draws heavily from the field of psychology, anthropology, economics, and mainly this course pivots around the decision making process of the consumer. The decision making in this context, we mean to say the purchase decision making. To proceed with, we have divided the course into 4 major facets. The 8-week span will gradually unfold all these 4 facets of consumer behavior. The course starts with the introduction to consumer behavior, where in the first module we will unravel the basic concepts of consumer behavior, different key terminologies in that, and what is the relevance of consumer behavior in the field of marketing. May it be the designing of the product, may it be designing of the price, promotion or distribution, how the facets of consumer behavior puts immense implication to all facets of marketing per se. Now, secondly, we will talk about the nature of the worldwide customer and how this is changing. We will have a special reference to the customers of India and especially the customers of rural India. This will be followed by the understanding of the concept of segmentation, targeting and positioning in context of consumer behavior, and it will be followed by the buzzword of today, that is consumerism, which means how the customers become the victims of consumerism and what are the consumer protection acts and forums which can protect the customers from the unlawful practices of the organization. Secondly, the course talks about the individual determinants of consumer decision making, and these individual determinants are basically the personal traits of the customers, the personal and psychological or demographic aspects of the customers. So, here we start with the theory of motivation, the process of motivation, what motivates the customer to take a particular purchase decision. We start with the theories of Maslow's need hierarchy, Murray's psychogenic needs, Dichter's consumption motives and McNabb's human need. We also talk about in different kind of involvement situation, high involvement or low involvement, how customers motivation differs, how customers decision making process differs. Then we talk how a customer perceive about a product or a service or a brand. So, the process of perception will be our next topic of discussion, which should be followed by the theories of personality. Theories of personality is very well connected with selecting of the celebrities for promotion. In this context, McRacken has developed a model which is known as meaning transfer model, which actually creates a bond between the customer's cultural traits, personal traits, along with the celebrities image in the mind of the customer, which means the celebrities personal traits in the mind of the customers and the brand's traits in the mind of the customers. The theories of personality would be followed by the process of cognitive and instrumental learning. After the learning theories, we will talk about one of the most fundamental part in the or individual determinant of consumer decision making process, that is attitude formation. We have resorted to multi-attribute attitude formation model of Martin Fishburne to discuss about how the customers evaluate different attributes of a product or brand and forms an attitude towards that. The third facet of this course is related to the group determinant or the environmental determinant of consumer decision making process. This will begin with the impact of culture on the consumer decision making, which would be followed by the process of family decision making, how as a family determines the choice decision process, what are the different levels of conflicts in the family decision making process, and how resolving these conflicts the families comes to a consensus to take a final decision. We also talk about the lifestyle criteria of the customer, which is we talk about World's typology of different kind of customers. We talk about AIO classification and its impact on market segmentation. We talk about the impact of reference groups on the customers, like whom the customers aspire to become or do not aspire to become, and their impact on the consumer's choice of brands. Thereafter, we talk about the concept of diffusion of innovation. Innovation is a buzzword today. Given all the startup businesses, innovation becomes a buzzword in today's world. But how the customer adapts and adapts to the innovation, following the Everett Rogers diffusion of innovation process, we will unfold this process of diffusion of innovation. And the third facet is about the decision making of the consumers, and this is the decision making model. We will start with the Kotler's black box model and basic decision making rules or choice heuristics, followed by the traditional and contemporary decision making models. The traditional models will be divided into microeconomic decision making models, which was propounded by Marshall, and the macroeconomic decision making models, in which we will talk about Friedman's permanent income hypothesis and Dusenberry's relative income hypothesis. This would be followed by the contemporary buying decision making, which has taken into consideration different psychological aspects apart from the income and price aspect, which was discussed in the traditional models. And we will discuss Nicosia model, Howard Schett model, Angel Colette Miniard model, and Howard Schett Grossman and Newman model of different values, to talk about the models of consumer decision making. And thereafter, in a nutshell, we have also described the Webster-Wien model of industrial decision making and different industrial buying situations, and the course has concluded with the research in consumer behavior. So, in short, this is the course, and I assume that this course will sensitize you about the aforesaid concepts which I right now said, and this will help you to design appropriate marketing mix and understand the implication of consumer behavior in the overall marketing strategy formulation. So, once again, I welcome you in this course, and I look forward to interact with you in different sessions which is going to come forward. Thank you so much.